Hey, it's Molly. Welcome back to my channel as we discuss the Leo full moon happening on February 5th, 2023 at 1:28 p.m. That's Eastern time, so be sure and adjust for your location on the planet. The Leo new moon is occurring at 16 degrees of Leo 40 minutes, so nearly 17 degrees, and it is in opposition to the sun at the same degrees and minutes in Aquarius in your chart. So every full moon is an oppositional energy of balance, seeing both sides, understanding more of your energy that is operating in both realms. But the Leo full moon brings your attention to the Leo areas of your chart. So you want to identify where you have nearly 17 degrees of Leo, as this is where the full moon is illuminating and shining a spotlight on this area of your life, of your energy, and of your consciousness. Now, there are two things that stand out to me right away in this chart. And the first thing is that this particular full moon is actually a midpoint between eclipses that we have been moving through. So back in November 8th, we had a Taurus lunar eclipse at 16 degrees that was conjunct Uranus. Then coming up in May 5th, 2023, we will have a Scorpio lunar eclipse at 15 degrees of Scorpio in your chart. And so this full moon is activating the ongoing shifts and changes that the eclipses are bringing in. And it is a halfway point. It just so happens to be a full moon that is bringing our attention to the Leo energies as we move through the Taurus and Scorpio eclipses. Now, keep in mind, these eclipses are both lunar eclipses, which means they are also full moons. They are also activating more within your emotional body, what's happening within you, how you really truly feel. And eclipses bring about change. So we're in the midst of a process of deep change in our life that is also being triggered and activated by Uranus at 15 degrees of Taurus. Uranus has already been in this part of your chart. That was back in May 2022, as well as in December 2022. And Uranus will move forward and won't come back to this halfway point. Now, this is significant because Uranus is basically crossing a threshold into the second half of Taurus and won't be moving back to these degree points in your chart. So this full moon is really showcasing and bringing up some type of big life process, big life change that you're already moving through. And in Leo, there is the development here of connecting energy to your courage, to your heart, to your sense of self, really asking you to look at what is developing and unfolding for you, and is it in alignment with that Leo energy signature of self-expression, confidence, understanding who you are, what you want. And I feel like this particular full moon is also asking you to remain in your strength and power amongst these bigger eclipse changes that are unfolding in two other areas of your chart. And this is an interesting activation because the Leo energies aren't working with any other transiting energies at this time. You can see all the planets are over here on this half of your chart. So there is certainly a balancing energy at play here, where for all the ways this part of your chart, these energies have been so strong, especially Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. These have been the dominant energies for over a year now. This is returning to what you want and to really connecting with it and understanding everything that's happening outside of you that is perceived as maybe out of your control. This is supposed to be an energy that is centering. And I connect it to the solar plexus and how the energy of Leo gives us the strength to shine our light, to understand who we are, and to really walk proudly with our energy in the world. So there could be something here where during this full moon, you're feeling the energy pull back into yourself. And it would be a good time to do any type of chakra cleansing or clearing in the solar plexus to work with the energy as well of your heart chakra. Because when the solar plexus and the heart are connected, there is courage and strength there to love from the heart, to move from the heart. And so this is a warming energy. This is a warming up of something that you need, that you want. I'm actually feeling the warmth in the heart chakra. Of course, trust what you're feeling, trust what's coming up for you. But this is an energy of really knowing that what you want is possible amongst these big changes. And I feel like there's something here where, yes, we're checking in with ourselves. And you can see how this moon and sun are also squaring Uranus. And so that further activates these big life changes that are unfolding that started with the eclipses of 2022 and will continue into 2023. This is an eclipse midpoint Leo full moon that ties into a bigger story in your life that's unfolding now. And it's strongly working with the fixed signs, as you can see, the fixed signs being Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And it's like a very focused degree point because of the eclipses being at 15 degrees, 16 degrees, this energy being at 16, nearly 17 degrees. So in your chart, if you have planets or points between 15 to 17 degrees of the fixed signs, you are feeling this energy the most. You are feeling this transformation, and it could also feel wildly uncomfortable. And that's part of the square here from Uranus, where things are shaking up. These are big life changes. These are things that are developing that could even feel overwhelming or scary at times. But that would just be your ego or your mind feeling overwhelmed because it's outside of your perceived control. But there's something here that's meant to move you forward, that's meant to help you grow, that's meant to show you more of the changes that you're ready for in this lifetime. So this is a very dynamic Leo full moon as it's activating eclipse energies and shaking up more of what you're ready to experience in the new chapters of your life. Now, the energies are also favorably working with this Mars, which is now direct, 11 degrees of Gemini. So this Mars, after his extended retrograde period, is moving forward, hopefully with a calmer mind, a calmer mindset. Because when Mars is retrograde in Gemini, there can be a lot that gets stirred up. The unknowns, the details, the plans, there can be anxiety. But hopefully you were able to work with that energy consciously, calm it down, feel more grounded and centered mentally, and then move ahead with choices that are best for you. And with that Mars working with the sun and the moon, there's a sense here of things are clicking, connecting, and coming together. We also have the sun and the moon working favorably with this Chiron at 12 degrees of Aries, 48 minutes, now moving direct as well. And this Chiron is helping the ongoing healing process. In fact, the way I'm seeing this too is that Chiron is sextiling this Mars. Chiron in Aries is ruled by Mars. And so there's some kind of healing for masculine energy right now. The masculine energy within each of us, maybe the wounded warrior or the wounded, unhealed parts of the masculine expression, that could be something that's also coming through. And maybe you're feeling that in parts of your energy, where there's a strengthening of what you want, who you are, and what you want to go for. Now, I mentioned how there were two things that stood out to me in this chart. Well, the first is how this full moon is a midpoint between eclipses. The second thing that stands out to me in this chart is that Saturn is now in new territory in Aquarius. This is the last month of Saturn in Aquarius. Saturn will enter Pisces March 7th and 8th. And so this Saturn is covering 26, 27, 28, 29 degrees of Aquarius over the next month and will not return to Aquarius for another 28 years. So if you have planets or points in these late degrees of Aquarius, Saturn is coming across them only once, and this does happen. There are parts of the zodiac where Saturn doesn't go back and forth 3 times. Saturn will just go across it once. So if you're having, for example, your Saturn return in the late degrees of Aquarius, it's only going to happen once, one pass, and then Saturn moves on. So this is significant because we also are needing to wrap up whatever this Saturn in Aquarius has been bringing up for you in the Aquarius areas of your life, where you're making life changes, taking on more responsibilities or commitments, perhaps even looking at what you've had to change in the Aquarius areas of your life. So the next month is important for Saturn in Aquarius as it completes this nearly 3-year journey through Aquarius and is helping you understand what needed to shift and change for the higher evolution of Aquarius energies. And what that means is that Saturn wants us to take responsibility for all of our energy. And in Aquarius, there could be a sense here of really getting to know more of who you are, where you're going, what path is correct for you, what you want, really staying focused as well on how to go about that. What's the strategy? What's the plan? And hopefully you've had some awareness around that. You can see we also have Venus in Pisces where she is exalted. That means she really does well in Pisces. And we also have this Neptune in Pisces. These energies are softening us. And these energies are also going to become more important as Saturn moves into Pisces again in early March. And there's going to be now a focus on how we work with Pisces energies. But we're not there yet. I just wanted to give you a heads up on what is unfolding since this is the last month of this Saturn in Aquarius. Now we also have over here in Capricorn this Mercury direct after being retrograde and approaching that conjunction to Pluto, which is at 28 degrees of Capricorn, 48 minutes. And this is energy that we've been working through for a while now, especially since Mercury's retrograde in Capricorn. But as Mercury approaches this conjunction to Pluto, there are things you realize. There are truths that are communicated, things that come up that you're meant to truly go into and look at and understand. There's always a depth to Pluto. And there could be something here that you feel you're facing, you're looking at, perhaps a fear you're confronting. And I feel like during this particular Leo full moon, this energy is also meant to show you more of what you're deeply changing internally, what you've shifted in your perspectives, in your thoughts. We had the super retrograde period that you probably heard me talk about quite a bit because we had this Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, and it was the ruler of Mars retrograde in Gemini. So there are parts of ourselves that have been reprogrammed and rewired, but it takes time to integrate. It takes time to really absorb and then be in that new energy, that new frequency. I'm feeling like this Leo full moon is potentially showing you what you have been working on, working through. And I feel like there's something here where this Leo full moon wants you to retain a confidence in yourself. and to come back into your power, to come back into your sense of self that is not meant to be dimmed or challenged by external influences. This is where you're really honoring who you are, how far you've come, the changes you've been moving through. Perhaps it's been deep healing. Perhaps there's been things that you've been facing and looking at that you couldn't turn your head away from it. That's what eclipses do. Eclipses bring up changes that we need to make because our soul is guiding the energy. Our soul is saying it's time for this next level, for this elevation. So I feel like this Leo full moon is asking us to integrate these changes into our hearts, to truly honor and love ourselves for what we've been moving through, and to work with the changes, to not resist them, to not try to control them, to not be stubborn. I mean, these fixed signs are so stubborn that they can resist their intuition. They can resist what they're feeling or sensing, because these are the energies that want change when they choose it, but the universe is saying your number's up. You're being called. It's your turn. It's your time. And the change is happening. So this is a very dynamic Leo full moon because it's triggering those eclipse energies that we're halfway through, and because it's also asking you to connect with your courage through the changes. On the other side of Leo is being a coward, not stepping up, not stepping forward, running away, being too selfish, only being focused on yourself and your immediate needs. And the Aquarius energy is wanting to expand into the bigger picture of energies. Consider other people. Consider how that feels to them or what is coming up for them. Consider how your energy is being viewed or received. So Aquarius takes us out of our own energy field, asks us to look at where we're going, to have some new perceptions, and to see the other side of the coin or the other side of the story. And that is part of the balance. So all in all, this is a powerful Leo full moon that is continuing to activate the changes that we're moving through. You could have new realizations around what you want, what you don't want. This square to Uranus can also show you what you're now ready to shake off and let go of, what you're done with. These are sudden decisions, unexpected realizations. It's almost like if something's not in your heart and you're not feeling it, then that right there is a powerful message. And I think that this is also the universe reminding us the power of change is necessary, and to work with it, at least have a willingness. Even if you don't know what it's going to be or how it's going to look, there is power in willingness to change, willingness to grow and evolve. So I hope this has given you some good insights into what may be happening for you during this Leo full moon. Thank you so much for your comments, your likes, your shares, and your subscribes. Be sure and subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. And also know that what we are moving through as we move further into 2023 is very powerful energies on the planet. This is a very big year for astrology and for our next level of elevation in terms of humanity's growth. So we are here for it. We signed up for it. We're going to do it. And I hope that as we continue through the year, you remember to connect to your heart, to your power, to your strength, and most importantly, your light. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back here soon with another video for you, and wishing you a beautiful Leo full moon.